Hello, so this is my audience, and in it there is Erica, Daniela, Jovel, Trevor, and Eugene. And so they're just gonna watch and listen to me talk about what I have to tell you. My name is Rachel, and I was born December 25th, 1998. So I'm just gonna tell you a few things that happened that same month and year. So regarding politics and other notable events, one of the first ones I took note of was December 4th, was the space shuttle Endeavour that launched the first American component up to the International Space Station. The next event that happened was in December 6th, Hugo Chavez was elected president of Venezuela. Moving on to December 9th, the Tadiana massacre occurred in Algeria, and that was these villagers being murdered by these armed groups in mountain villages such as Buhamid and Ayashish, and around 81 villagers were killed, and their corpses were mutilated and burned. Moving on to December 16th through December 19th, there was the Operation Desert Fox, and that was basically the United States and the United Kingdom ordering airstrikes down to Iraq, and it was a thing that lasted 4 days. Moving on to entertainment, I will talk about these movies that were released that same month and year. So one of the first ones I took note of was December 18th. There was Shakespeare in Love, and this stars Gwyneth Paltrow and Joseph Fiennes as William Shakespeare. And the movie's basically about Shakespeare falling in love and just showing how he was inspired to write his plays. And I'm not sure if it's fiction or not. It might be fiction, but I've seen it before. It's pretty okay. Another film that came out was in December 11th. There was Jack Frost, and this is a family film that a lot of you may have seen or heard of, and it's about that snowman that comes to life after a child's dad dies, I believe, and like the dad's spirit is in the snowman. I'm not really sure. The snowman's kind of creepy, but the snowman Jack Frost is played by Michael Keaton, and that was one of the films that came out that was more centered around the whole Christmas theme and December. Another film that came out was in December 4th, the film Psycho came out. And if you've heard of Norman Bates or like Bates Motel, this is basically centralized around that. And it's about like the murders in Bates Motel, I believe. I've only seen the show that's more around the 2000s, so I haven't really seen it. But that was a film that you may be familiar with, and it just stars Anne Heche and Julianne Moore in the film as well, and Vince Vaughn. So another film that came out was in December 11th was Star Trek Insurrection. So if you are a Star Trek fan, you may be familiar with this film. It was the 9th in the Star Trek film series, so there are a lot of them, and it just stars Patrick Stewart and LeVar Burton and a lot of other actors, but those are just some of them. Moving on from entertainment into births and deaths. So December 9th, Archie Moore died, and he was a famous American light heavyweight boxing champion, and he died at the age of 84. Another death that occurred was in December 17th. There was a woman named Claudia Barton, and it wasn't really her being famous that she was recognized for her death, but how she died, because she was murdered by a serial killer, and his name was Angel Maturino Resendez. But when she was killed, a jury ruled her husband as guilty, even though it was the serial killer, and so it just became this big thing. And so, yeah. And another death that occurred was in December 24th. A man named Raymer Schreiber died, and he died at the age of 88, and he was recognized for being an American physicist who developed the first atomic bomb that was used during World War II, as well as participated in preparing a bomb that was used in the bombing of Nagasaki. And so I think it was called like the Fat Man's Bomb or something. I'm not really sure, but yeah, he died at the age of 88. One of the births I took note of was this guy named Owen Teague, and he was born December 18th. I also realized that not a lot of people may know him because he'd be my age, and so he's still pretty young, but I only recognized him for his role in the 2017 version of the film It, and he was one of the bullies that ended up disappearing because he was killed or eaten by Pennywise, so I thought that was pretty interesting that we were the same age. And so although this probably belongs somewhere in the politics category, I thought I'd save the best for last. And so this occurred in December 19th, and you all may know the famous words, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." And so those were the wise words of Bill Clinton, and it was regarding the Monica Lewinsky scandal. And so later on, everyone found out that that scandal was not just a scandal, it was a truth. Is that what it means? But anyway, yeah, so that occurred, and he was actually impeached by the United States House of Representatives in December 19th. So those are all the facts that I have for my month and year of birth, and I just thought they were pretty interesting, and I'm glad I got to share them with all of you guys. So thank you. Thank you, friends. Thank you for being here. Goodbye.